Hi everyone, it's Angela from Cloudfetti, and today I'm sharing how to make a mini haunted house out of polymer clay. So to start out, I have a large ball of tan clay, and I'm flattening that out between two stacks of 2 popsicle sticks. I then have a large square cookie cutter here. And I'm cutting out the shape. And then removing the excess. And then just removing it off my work surface. I'm then setting it aside. Next, I have a large ball of purple clay, and I've gone ahead and flattened that out between 2 stacks of 9 popsicle sticks, just so that it's really thick. I then have a rectangle cookie cutter here, and because the clay is so tall, it's going to get stuck in the cutter. So to stop that, I'm gently pressing it into the top of the clay so that it makes an imprint. And pulling it back out. And I'm using a blade to trim off the sides. Next up, I have a large ball of dark grey clay, and I've rolled and cut a piece just using the same rectangle cutter as the purple clay, and that's 5 popsicle sticks tall. And I'm trimming the edges off at an angle so that it looks like a keycap from a keyboard. And I'm placing it on top of the purple rectangle. So now to make the roof tiles, I've gone ahead and rolled out 2 thick snakes of the same dark grey clay. And I'm flattening one with my acrylic rolling pin. And trimming off the edges with my blade to make it nice and straight. And then wrapping it around the bottom edge of the roof. And trimming off the excess where the 2 edges meet. And then cutting the corners so that they're all the same. And I'm cutting slits to make the shingles, just doing that all the way around. I've then gone ahead and repeated the same steps with the other snake and wrapped the other snake just above the first layer of shingles. And I'm blending the top edge of the roof so that it's smooth. and cutting more shingles into the second layer. I then rolled out another large ball of purple clay, so it's 4 popsicle sticks tall. And I have a smaller rectangle cookie cutter. And I've cut out the shape vertically. And trimming off the top 2 edges at an angle. I've then rolled out more of the dark grey clay that I've used earlier, in between 2 stacks of 2 popsicle sticks. And I'm placing the purple piece vertically on top and trimming the clay around it, just leaving a border on all sides, leaving the left and right hand sides a bit thicker. And I'm removing the purple piece and placing the grey clay on top so that it becomes a roof. I've then gone ahead and made lots of shingle roof tiles, just like I did earlier, but this time just with thinner strips, and I'm placing them on the smaller roof, building it from the bottom up. Then I'm placing it on the front of the larger house piece. After that, I have a small ball of grey clay in a lighter shade, and I've rolled that out so it's 3 popsicle sticks tall, and I'm trimming off the edges so it's square. Placing it on the right hand side of the larger roof. I've then cut and flattened a thin snake of the roof colour, and I'm wrapping it around the chimney. And making lots of slits with my blade, just like with the roof. Next up, for the windows, I've got a small ball of yellow clay, and I've gone ahead and rolled that out between a couple of single popsicle sticks. And I have a small rectangle cookie cutter. And I've cut out the shape horizontally. Next, to give it a gradient or ombre effect, I'm shaving some orange chalk pastel onto my work surface. And brushing it on the top half of the rectangle. And I'm using my blade to cut 2 vertical strips. And I'm placing them on either side of the front of the larger house part. And I'm cutting them in half horizontally, just cutting out a little chunk so that it makes 4 windows instead of 2. So now for a round window, I have a small round cutter here. And I'm cutting it from the excess yellow clay. And placing it on the smaller house part. And to make the door, I have a small ball of brown clay, and I've rolled that out so it's 1 popsicle stick tall. I then have a small oval cookie cutter here. And I've cut out the shape vertically. And I'm cutting that in half horizontally. And to make it look like wood, I'm gently scoring vertical lines in the clay with my blade. And then making them deeper. And putting on a tiny grey ball for the doorknob. And placing the whole thing on the front of the house. Next up, to finish the window, I've gone ahead and rolled a super thin snake of black clay, and I'm cutting it in half. And placing it on like a cross. So now it's time to add the face. So I'm using a dotting tool to poke holes for the eyes to go. And adding in little balls of black. And a tiny little smile. Then for the cheeks, I'm pressing on some small balls of light pink. And then taking the whole house and squeezing some bacon bond on the bottom. And brushing it all over it. and placing it onto the larger square that I cut out earlier. And I've made a teeny tiny pumpkin, and I have a separate tutorial sharing how I make this, which I'll leave a link to in the description box below. And I'm placing it on the side of the house, just adding a bit more bacon bond and putting the pumpkin on top. And then baking everything fully using my package's instructions. And that's all for this tutorial. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe for more. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!